Voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. So John Bromfield is telling me he's not going today to over to spring training to watch anybody train, even though he's in Palm Beach, Florida. John, what's the matter
That's
with
right.
you? What's the matter with you? Jeez.
Well, we've got a lot of work here to do with the cybersecurity front.
Well, then you're excused. Our conversation with John Bromfield, brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. John is kind enough to join us. He is the director with Vistrata. It's a company that offers a holistic approach to cybersecurity, including cybersecurity strategy, security awareness training, penetration testing, and controlled phishing. And John is here to talk to us today about artificial intelligence, particularly as it relates to elections. And John, that's actually becoming a scarier and scarier topic. We don't know what we're listening to when we're hearing things now, do we?
We do not. It is pervasive. It's everywhere. And in fact, cybersecurity firm Arctic Wolf recently did a survey with over 130 government and campaign officials here coming up to the elections, and over half of them say we are not prepared for this, unfortunately.
Wow. Is disinformation A, as serious, and B, as hot a topic in your business world as it is that we're hearing from the media?
Absolutely is. AI, we think of AI from a deep fake. Right now, we've heard the news about some of these audios that are, I guess, mimicking Joe Biden in New Hampshire. But we're seeing it in a couple of other realms. So think of psychological phishing attacks where these cyber criminals can use AI to quickly, get a deep profile on someone and use that information to, send emails and entice or influence an unknowing suspect to click on a link or do something that they shouldn't do that can have some significant consequences.
Boy, that is insidious in a couple of ways. Number one, its effect on a campaign and on an election, but B, it gives somebody an entry into your own personal life that you don't want.
Absolutely. The challenge here, especially with social media, is that our information is everywhere these days. And so leveraging a tool like AI to, again, quickly consolidate critical information and get a profile on someone, it just increases the probability. And in cybersecurity, we say that the weakest attack vector is not the technology. It's always the individual of the person. Mm-hmm. And so the smart cyber criminals are exploiting that.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the root of it all and the structure of a disinformation campaign and how it is that it can really harm us. First, let's talk about its implications for the election itself and what we're hearing and whether we can trust it.
Sure. I think a great starting point here is to understand that this has been around for some time. In fact, 2 years ago in Slovakia, 2 days coming up to the elections there, a deepfake audio was posted on Facebook, which basically had the candidate, or the fake candidate, let's call it, talking about stealing elections. And this was dispersed at such a scale that it impacted the outcome of the election there. And that's 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Now, think of the advancements we've had with AI since then. But that's a perfect example of how the impact can, you look at the November 2024 elections, think about unknowing people listening to stuff on, on the internet or on TV and thinking it's real and how that could impact their vote at the end of the day. So it is serious.
And I would assume that it gets even more easy to do as you work your way down the ladder. We've got the presidential race coming up, of course, in 2024, and maybe I'm wrong about assuming this, but I'm assuming that they have a stronger security status and strategy at that level than, say, somebody that's running for a county commissioner post somewhere or for a state representative post. As you get lower on that ladder of political standing, that the level of security also gets a little bit weaker each time.
It does, and it's easy. Yeah, again, so the cyber criminal is looking for the easiest door to open, and at the local level, that would be the easiest because it's not as prominent, so it can't be called out as quickly, perhaps. I think the other thing here as well is that this isn't just happening on radio and TV or on an email. It's happening on the likes of YouTube and Facebook, where an unknowing person might think a candidate is asking for a donation on a YouTube ad with a QR code, and they may unsuspectingly click that QR code and go to a malicious website and hand over very sensitive personal information.
And in that case, that's our second little prong of this little conversation this morning is we've gone from maybe influencing an election to getting into your bank account.
Correct.
Yikes. That's really super scary because now here's somebody that is looking for information on a candidate or looking to help a candidate, and all of a sudden they've compromised their entire income stratus, and so they are really, really at risk.
Absolutely. Yeah, again, people are the weakest link, and what we need to do is go on a broad awareness campaign across the board. We're doing this with the businesses that we consult and their employees, but this is a public concern. And so conversations like this that we're having are hugely important to get the awareness out there. One of the things we say in cybersecurity, we have this term called zero trust, which is don't trust anything outright, but take the time to verify it or validate it. Mm-hmm. And so we always tell people, look, we're a convenience society, right? We like to click on a link and have it all done the next second. But this is a situation where taking the extra minute and validating something can save someone literally 2 years of headache and pain. And so we always caution people to take the time, validate where your source of information is coming from, and save yourself a world of hurt in the process.
So awareness is one way to attack the problem. Are there other things being done?
There are. Fortunately, we are seeing a big focus, public-private partnership between the big tech firms, so Meta, Facebook, Apple, TikTok even, Microsoft, working in conjunction with government and campaign officials to get ahead of this. Big tech is creating what are called a content credentials as a service capability. So this is similar to, think of the blue check mark in your Twitter account, which verifies you are who you are. Mm-hmm. This would be the similar capability for an audio or video file. So tagging content credentials, proving origination or the source of that file. These are the types of capabilities that are being put out in addition to capabilities to spot deep fakes as close to real time as possible. Last Friday, in fact, all these big tech firms that I had named signed a commitment at the Munich Security Conference. So this is taking place on an international scale, not just here in the U.S.
Yeah. Hey, big tech has taken a few hits, though, in the last few years in terms of their reputation and their trustworthiness. Are people buying it? Are they standing on board with them?
It's a delicate dance, and I do agree that there needs to be a balance between protecting the integrity of information, but at the same time protecting the ability to disseminate free speech and information. Right? They're two closely related things, and it's important that as big tech works with governments to validate integrity, that we're not sacrificing our freedoms of speech, for example.
Yeah. Well, right now, we still like the idea of somebody walking door to door, knocking on doors and introducing themselves, but we understand that presidential candidates aren't going to do that for 50 or 60 million people. So that's probably not going to be an option this year, is it?
No, probably not.
John Bromfield, tell us about Vistrata and what you do.
Yeah, Vistrata is a management IT consulting firm specializing in cybersecurity. We focus on mid and enterprise-sized companies, helping them stand up their cybersecurity posture, and we take a holistic approach, as you mentioned. So we look at everything, not just the technology. We look at the operational aspect. We look at the people part of the equation, and our customers keep coming back to us because we're looking at it from a 360-degree view.
Is it Vistrata.com? Is that where we learn more?
That's correct.
Beautiful. Vistrada. John, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day in Palm Beach.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
It's Indiana in the Morning, and it's WCCS at 3 before 10.